Hey guys, what's crack-a-lack-a-lackalin'?
Yes, I did get a haircut. Woo, nice and buzzed. I'm here today to talk about something that has come to my attention for the first time in my life. No, not really. But basically, I'm here today to talk about biasm, or bias, however way you want to say it. You might be wondering where this would stem from. Well, not from anything dramatic, if that's what you're thinking. No political ramifications behind this. No religious conflicts behind this. You want to know where this started? It started from 2.5 Men. Yes, 2.5 Men. On Monday this week, the first episode that featured Ashton Kutcher as one of the new men premiered. Not only did it receive very high ratings, it received the highest ratings in the entire series history at 28 million. That number will taper off as episodes continue to progress forward. Most people just tuned in because they want to see what it would be like. Now, when I was watching that premiere, I laughed. I laughed a lot. Maybe it's because I don't understand the difference between what's good and what's bad, but that being said, I like a lot of good things that other people like. I'm not some Twilight fangirl, if that's what you want to call me. But basically, I was laughing just as much during that premiere episode as I did for any other episode prior to that featuring Charlie Sheen. Now, here is where the biasm comes into play. Everybody's going to be coming with the attitude, oh, it's not as good as it's not Charlie Sheen, or the magic is gone now, it's not Charlie Sheen. But that's not true. That's not true at all. It's exactly the same. It was exactly the same. Sure, the character is different. It's a completely different character, completely different morality, completely different way of doing things, because he's not Charlie Harper. He's not Charlie Harper. He's Walden Schmidt. Every time there's a change made to a TV series or movie, whatever it may be, people say the same thing every time. It's not as good as it used to be now because so-and-so is no longer a part of it, and so since so-and-so's gone, this is no longer the same as it used to be. People are comparing Charlie Harper to characters like having The Simpsons without Homer Simpson. That being said, I don't consider that factual at all. Charlie Harper is not in the same league as Homer Simpson. I'm sorry, he's just not. He doesn't give you the same feel as a Homer Simpson per se. Honestly, I think every character on that show is their own awesome character. I think John Cryer is very good. I think Angus T. Jones is very good. And I think Charlie Sheen is very good. But they're all equally the same in terms of their level of performance. The only difference that Charlie Sheen had in comparison to John Cryer and Angus T. Jones is the fact that he was paid more than them. A lot more. Now, will it be different? Yes, it will be different. It will be different. Admittedly, anything that has a change will be different. But does that automatically mean the magic goes away? No, it doesn't. Essentially, we need to cut out this Hollywood viewer bias that entraps our brains, because whether something is actually good or not, people will badmouth it to the highest extent just because that person wasn't there. So basically, by default, they will hate on something because it's different, just because they're not used to it. It's mostly because America, or the world, is afraid of change. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't afraid of change. But it's a television series. Television series don't affect you. They don't affect anybody. They affect entertainment value, I suppose. And sure, you might miss certain aspects that were there prior that are no longer there now. But if it still makes you laugh, if it's still entertaining, who gives a shit? I'm going to go on the limb right now, though, and say that I haven't always watched 2.5 Men. I haven't. I've only seen mostly repeats on FX. I don't usually tune in to new episodes. I was never really a fan of 2.5 Men. But I've been watching a lot more of it lately, and I find it genuinely funny. You know, it's pretty funny. You know, it's a different kind of humor that you don't usually find all the time on sitcoms. It's not a traditional sitcom in certain senses of the word. It's kind of like the live-action version of Family Guy, essentially, because of all of its different kinds of humor and the fact that there's no sentimentality at all in that show. Even when they were dealing with Charlie Harper's death, not one person cried over it. There was no emotion at all because it was treated hilariously. I like that. I really do like that. I mean, some shows and some movies just aren't meant to be sentimental. Because if you add an act of sentimentality in there, it takes away a lot of the magic. Honestly, you guys should be complaining about there being too much sentimentality, which Two and a Half Men does not have. Two and a Half Men does not have sentimentality. You should be thankful that there hasn't been one bit of sentimentality on this show to think about. At least to the degree that you would find in a realistic situation. Like how you treat John Ritter's death on 8 Simple Rules. That had to be sentimental because it was real. Archie Bunker's Place. They dealt with Edith's death very sentimentally. And even Chico and the Man. His death was dealt with very sentimentality as well. Of course, that too was also real, so they had to be sentimental. But all in all, the video's main idea today was that we need to let go of our biasm towards the changes that are made because of real-life situations. We need to look forward to these new versions of old shows with open minds and open hearts. And when watching these shows, we just have to remember one thing: entertainment, fun, laughs. I laughed a lot, so should have you. I mean, maybe if you're not into that type of humor, then whatever. Two and a Half Men is still that grotesque, gross bullshit that it's always been. Even now. Will Charlie Sheen be missed? Yes, he will be. Can he be replaced? No. But, that being said, Walden Schmidt is not Charlie Harper, so you shouldn't even compare them. Exactly. Do not even compare the two, because they're completely different characters. Different backstories, different ways of doing things. Just completely different in every conceivable way. They are not cardboard cutouts of each other. You know, had they gone with John Stamos, he would have just been a repeat of Charlie Harper. And I say that because during his cameo in the first episode, he was acting just like Charlie Harper. Because apparently him and Charlie Harper had a history together. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, get over it! And just enjoy the show. Peace.